Hello everyone, my name is Natalie and welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing you a Christmas book haul. Now, I don't really do book hauls. I know they're pretty popular here on BookTube, but as much as I love books and reading, I just don't buy them very often. And I don't buy a lot of books at a time. I'm normally reading books from the library or going through books that I already own but haven't read, or I'm rereading books. But I got a bunch of new books for Christmas that I'm really excited about, so I thought I'd share them with you all. The first book is Beauty and Thorns by Kate Forsyth. I guess this was more of a end of the semester powering through finals / Christmas sort of gift to myself. I had already been getting my sister's gift from Book Depository, and that's the only place I can find this book when it comes to getting it outside of Australia, and it was on sale, so I went ahead and got it. I have been dying to get my hands on this book because it's all about my favorite art movement, the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. This was a rather small-scale movement that took place in England in the mid to late 1800s, a little into the early 1900s, and it's very much inspired by fairy tales and folklore, mythical figures, and it's just very ethereal and dreamy, and there's lots of colors and ornate, detailed designs, and it's just really beautiful. I discovered them like 11th grade, I think, 11th or 12th grade, and while I was learning about them, I came across the author's blog where she was talking about her writing process for this book and the research she was coming across and different ways she was thinking of utilizing it and things like that. So I thought it was really cool and I wanted to read the book when it came out. When did it come out? Which was 2017, and I finally got my hands on it. So Beauty and Thorns is all about the core of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, so Ned Burne-Jones, Dante Gabriel Rossetti, William Morris, and so it's all about these artists, and most specifically their muses, the women that inspired them to paint and were often featured in the paintings. There is a big part of it that also focuses on a specific painting, or rather series of paintings, on Sleeping Beauty and the different scenes from that. And the artists and their muses, unfortunately, as artists' lives go, were very tragic. There were a lot of affairs and broken hearts, drug abuse, in some cases suicide, so very tragic, very sad. The author has done a lot of fairy tale retellings. They're very much rooted in a lot of history and in-depth research, which is something I definitely appreciate in a book. But yes, very excited about this. And the cover itself looks like a painting. It may even be pulled directly from the Sleeping Beauty cycle. I'm not completely sure, but it is a beautiful cover. The second book I got was The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Marianne Schaefer. This is a book that I read earlier this year over the summer and I absolutely love. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads, and it's one of my favorites of the year. So I'm really glad I got a copy of this because I know it's one of those books I am going to check out of the library a lot, probably just as much as the Scorpio races, and other people need to get the chance to read this amazing book. So now I don't have to worry about that because I have my own copy. I actually got 2 copies of it, one from my sister, that's the original cover, and then from my grandma I got this copy, which is the movie poster cover. My sister forgot that my grandma said she was getting me this book, so after Christmas my sister was like, I completely forgot, we can like trade this in for another book you wanted. I'm like, no, I'm keeping both of them. We all know that the normal book covers tend to be far superior than the movie covers. But also, because this is such an amazing book, I am able to loan it out a bit more safely and comfortably to people I think should really enjoy it. So, personal copy and loaning copy. This book is set after World War II, and it follows an author named Juliet Ashton who's looking for inspiration for a new book to write. And she ends up corresponding with a group of people on the island of Guernsey, which was occupied by Germany through most, if maybe not all, of the war. They were completely cut off. They didn't know what was going on, and most people didn't know what was going on the island either. And this is a part of history that isn't really talked about. I didn't even know about this island or its history before this book, and I love World War history. I love learning about it. It tells the story of their relationship, but also about how the people survived during the war. And it was through this book club they formed as a way to meet in secret and not get in trouble with the soldiers. So it was a book club, and then it's potato peel pie because a lot of their food was taken by the soldiers, so they ate potato peel pie. This is a wonderful story about the power and magic of books and how it brings people together and how it can change lives, and it's just beautiful. The next book I got, also from my sister, was The Alice Network by Kate Quinn. So I've had my eye on Kate Quinn's books for a while. This is another one I am really excited about. It's another World War II story. Not surprising. And it's all about this secret network of female spies during the war, which is totally cool. I believe it also has dual timelines. It's about a girl in 1947 who is pregnant, unmarried. Her family sends her to Europe, and she kind of goes off on her own path, and she's trying to figure out what has happened to her cousin during the war, her cousin who she's really close to, who disappeared during the war in Nazi-occupied France. And then there's a timeline in 1915, which is the one with the spies. So it sounds like you get these two timelines, they converge, and it all has something to do with this missing cousin. I think this sounds really cool. I love World War fiction that focuses on female stories like this. It's just really intriguing to me, and I'm glad I finally have my hands on a copy so I can read it. I also received The Downstairs Girl by Stacey Lee. This is a newer release. I believe it came out in like maybe September. I know that it was part of the Book of the Month subscription, their new YA box, so it got a lot of publicity and hype from that. But this is a historical fiction novel following a girl named Jo who lives in Atlanta. She works as a lady's maid for the daughter of a very wealthy businessman, but unfortunately her employer is very mean and cruel to her. But by night, she writes an anonymous advice column for the newspaper called Dear Miss Sweetie. But she gets into a lot of trouble when she decides to use her column to speak out against ideas, commonly held ideas about race and gender. So it puts her in a lot of danger as she's trying to keep this identity secret. And she also ends up going on a mission to find out about who her parents are because she was abandoned as a baby. She's trying to figure out who her parents are, what happened to them, things like that. This sounds like a really interesting plot line. There's a potential for a strong, admirable heroine, exploring family dynamics, sense of belonging, but also a lot of self-growth and having to stand up for what you believe in. So a lot of really great themes right there. The next book I got is another favorite of mine, and that is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This is the Penguin Classics cloth-bound edition of the book. I already own Pride and Prejudice. I have a copy I got from a used bookstore, and there's nothing wrong with used books. Most of my books are used, and I also don't really get double copies or special editions or anything like that. I'm not really a book collector. I don't really collect books. I know some people like to when it comes to their favorite books, but the cloth-bound editions are just so beautiful. So I'm really, really happy to get this. I really like the pattern on this. It looks a lot like wallpaper you might see in like a really, really old mansion or something, which I think is really cool. I should actually look that up, but maybe if there's information online for what inspires each of the cover designs for these, because that'd be really interesting. So it's like this really interesting kind of mustardy olivey color, and then there's the yellow birds. I think they're swans and the leaves, and it's just really gorgeous. And the last book I got is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. This is another double copy for me. This is the Lifetime Library, and I think that the tree and the fog definitely captures the mood of this book. Very dark and mysterious and kind of unnerving. This is another classic I have read and really loved. Was it earlier this year? No, it was last year, right? Yeah, I read this last year and really enjoyed it. It is very much a tragedy, some romantic elements, but even the romance itself is tragic and twisted. Okay, those are all the books I got for Christmas. I'm really excited about all of them and so happy that I received them as gifts. I know there's that whole thing where you get new books and you want to read them, you're excited about them, and then you don't. They just sit on your shelf and make you feel guilty every time you see them and choose a different book. I do think I'm going to get through all of these in the coming year. As something I am focusing on in 2020, which you will hear about in my goals video in a few weeks, is I'm trying to whittle away at my unread books, because I do have some that I've neglected for a long time. They've lasted through all of my unhauls, so I need to either read them or get rid of them. So yeah, I do think I'm going to get through all these books. I'm really excited for my reading prospects in 2020, because these are a lot of really good books, or at least I think they will be. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and press the notification bell to get updates about when I upload new videos. I have a lot of exciting plans for this new year. Have a wonderful rest of your day, keep reading, and I will see you next time here on The Mighty Quill.